Okay, good afternoon, entrepreneurs from across Africa, and welcome to another masterclass session organized by the Tony Lulu Foundation. So I'm just going to introduce myself again. So my name is Ibukun Odurinde, and I'm the Entrepreneurship Programs Manager at the foundation. Joining me today is Adora Okoli, who is the Entrepreneurship Programs Executive at the foundation. And then I have our mentor, Foucault Rollins, who will be supporting with French, is here joining us today. And then we have a very, a special guest. She's not new to a lot of us. She actually facilitated this session last year as well. Her name is Chioma. Chioma is a TEF alumni, and she's the creative director of Red Button. She's running a very, very successful business. And she's going to be taking us on, or she's going to be teaching us or making us understand how to, pitch to prospective investors, how to learn the craft of elevator pitch. So I don't waste so much of our time. I'm going to hand over to Chioma. You're welcome, Chioma. Over to you. And thank you for joining us today. Welcome, everybody.
I'm still muted. Okay. Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you so much, Ibukun, and thank you everyone. My name is Chioma. I am the creative director of Red Button. I am also a TF alumni, like Ibukun has said. And today I'm very excited to be taking you again on how to deliver a winning elevator pitch. Okay, so without wasting too much time, because this session, I understand I have less than an hour. So let's quickly get to it. At the end of the session, we'll have time, maybe some minutes to ask questions. So listen carefully, this is very critical. Jot down your questions and put them in the comments at the end of the session. All right, so let's begin. How do you deliver a winning pitch? Why are we even having this conversation in the first place? So the TEF program has the pitch segment where you talk about your business in 3 minutes. I think, is it 3 minutes or 5 minutes?
2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's even shorter. So 2 to 3 minutes. So you don't even have enough time to tell too many stories. And exactly, I'll show you an example of a 2 minute pitch. In fact, I think I did a sample of a 2-3 minute pitch of my own business. So I'm showing you exactly what I used to get the seed funding, exactly what I used to get all that funding from TEF. So I'm giving you theory and I'm also giving you practical, what I myself used, right? So pay attention. Let's go to the slides. Oh, my slides not moving. My slides have refused to move. What's happening? Okay, sorry about that. Now, what's an elevator pitch? An elevator pitch is a concise description of your idea or business for the purpose of securing investments, contracts, or partnerships. Now, it could be maybe for getting big sales. It could be for securing even a fellowship or any growth opportunity. You need to talk about your business quickly. So the key word here is concise description. All right. So ensure that your elevator pitch is concise. Don't be tempted to have everything in one pitch. Some people say, oh, I have so much to say. My business has this, my business has that, but 2 minutes is too short. The earlier you start planning your different kinds of elevator pitches. So there's 30 seconds elevator pitch, there's 1 minute, there's 2 minutes, there's 5 minutes. Earlier you start planning all of that, the better for you, right? So ensure that you have the critical things that are needed for every pitch. And for every pitch, there's a requirement. So for a 2 minute pitch, there's a requirement. For a 5 minute pitch, you realize that you need more information for a 5 minute pitch, right? But for today, I'm going to be giving you exactly what you need for the TEF pitch. It's a 2 to 3 minutes pitch, and there are special things, particular things that they require from you. So I'm going to be talking to you about those particular things. Now, but in general, your elevator pitch is the first thing that an investor or a partner or whoever wants to give you an opportunity wants to hear from you. All right, it's a very concise description of your idea or your business. Concise description. Okay, I think that was a short slide, so let me allow Foko and to translate. Yeah, Foko.
Bonjour tout le monde et une fois de plus, bienvenue à nos sessions d'information de la Fondation de l'ONU pour l'année 2022. Donc, aujourd'hui, nous allons voir comment faire un pitch ascenseur. Un pitch ascenseur, en fait, c'est une description concise de notre affaire. Il est question ici qu'on vous apprenne comment apprêter votre idée d'affaires afin de pouvoir sécuriser et mettre en confiance un investisseur, un contractant ou un partenaire. Donc, c'est ça le but de la formation d'aujourd'hui, afin que vous soyez capable de faire des pitch vidéo sur 2 à 3 minutes en fonction des consignes qu'on vous donnera pour la suite du programme. OK, over to you.
Thank you very much, Foko. So let me move to the next slide. So I'm giving you now the key elements of your pitch, right? So the first thing is your story. The story contains the problem you're solving and why exactly this is important to you, right? Your story contains the problem you're solving and why this business or why this idea is important to you. Why are you passionate about it? How did you come about this, right? What's your motivation for starting the business? It could be a personal story. It could be the experiences around the business. Now, these are the 2 types of storytelling techniques that you can use. First is your personal story. If you have a personal story, please ensure that you have it, concise, in a concise form, maybe 1 or 2 lines in your pitch. I'll show you something you can use, a template you can use. Now, your personal story could be in 2013, I had an accident and I went to the hospital to get treated. And the hospital told me they don't have the treatment for the kind of cost that I have, right? And because of that, I started to research, in other countries or other hospitals, how else can this be cured, or how else can this problem be solved? And that's exactly how I found the solution to my costs and founded the business, right? So that's a personal story of what happened to you, what you went through, and that drove you to starting your business, right? On the other hand, if you don't have a personal story, so another example of a personal story is, I had a baby that suffered hair loss. She was born with, let's say, sickle cell anemia or something. And I started to research how I can help my baby regain her confidence, how I can help her grow her hair. And in 2017, I started to formulate this solution and that cream and that other cream, and it worked. I helped other mothers around my community whose children have this problem as well. And that's exactly how my business has started. That's your personal problem. That's the problem that you've gone through. And because of that, you found a solution and decided to use that to help other people. So that's a personal story. And this story is very, very, very critical and it's very, very compelling, right? And the reason why stories are important is because nobody can tell you your story is a lie. Your stories help you to connect with the decision makers on an emotional level, right? Before they get into the details of your business. So now that I know that this experience happened to you and you're using this, you're very passionate about it and you're using it to solve problems for other people, it's easier for me to believe that you can drive through that business, right? As opposed to it's a fancy idea, right? So your story helps you to connect with the decision maker on an emotional level before getting into the core of your business. So you can see the 2 stories I told. I'm not sure it lasted 10 seconds, right? So 20 seconds, 10 seconds is enough for you to craft a short story that will, make me have goosebumps listening to your pitch, right? And then the second part of it is, it could be an experience around the business that you're running. right? If you don't have a personal story like that, it could be something you read from a book that inspired you to start your business. It could be something that happened in your community. It could be something you came across or a speaker you listened to that inspired you and you decided to do something about the problem. In that case, you can also use that to craft a story for yourself. I'll give you an example of that because this is my own story, right? Now, the next thing is, so after talking about your story and your problem, remember the story and the problem is in the same compartment, because you're talking about, oh, in 2017, I had an accident and they couldn't solve my problem. I went to this hospital and it didn't work. I went to that hospital, it didn't work. And that's why I started to research how I can solve this problem that I have, right? So that's the problem and that's your story. All right, then you move to value proposition. That's your solution, the problem, the solution that you're bringing to the table, right? That's where you talk about it. When you're done with your story and the problem, then you talk about the solution. The solution is what you're offering, you know, the target market and your unique selling points. Your target market is who are you offering the solution to? Now, I'm offering the solution to children who are ages 5 to 10 in so-and-so community who suffer hair loss, or who are born with sickle cell anemia, right? So that's your target market. So you talk about your target market vis-a-vis the solution you're offering them. I'm offering to some solution to help children who are born with sickle cell anemia in Africa or in South Africa, in Cote d'Ivoire or in Madagascar, right? So now you've weaved your solution and your target market in the same line. Remember, your unique selling point is not your value proposition. Your unique selling point is what exactly is the unique thing about your business. So the unique thing about your value proposition, that's your USP. Now we want to know why we should be listening to you, why you're different from the next person. Because guess what? There's so many people who are incredibly talented, who have brilliant ideas, who are doing fantastic, creating fantastic impact in their communities. There's so many of them, right? Why should I be listening to you? There has to be something unique about your business. Now, that unique thing that you have is what you should talk about here, your unique selling points. So you can say, oh, for children with sickle cell anemia, this is the unique thing about our product. So instead of them to walk to the hospital, we use helicopters. This is an example. All right, we use helicopters to deliver the vaccines into their homes, right? Or it could be the uniqueness of the material that you use, or this material was formed or was recycled with some materials, you know, is not something that's very common. It's something that's unique to your business. It's something that when I hear it, I feel like I have goosebumps, right? So if you're talking about your value proposition, your target market and your unique selling points, and you don't feel like people will shake and, you know, want to give you the money immediately, please think about it critically. How do you even identify something unique about your business? If you don't have anything unique about your business, I think you should go and start doing a research. So research other companies who are doing the same thing that you're doing, find out how you can tweak and you know, adapt or innovate on what they're already doing. I did a comprehensive video on this topic, you know, finding your USP on my YouTube channel. Maybe at the end of the video, you can go and watch it and find out how you can articulate your unique selling points, how you can even find what is unique about your business. We'll not have the time to go into all of that now, but yeah, go to my YouTube channel and you'll find the video there. Now, your value proposition is about your solution, your target market, and your USP. I would allow Foko to translate now because this slide is a lot. So Foko, over to you. I'll continue when you're done.
Okay, thank you, Shioma. Donc, maintenant, pour les principaux éléments qu'on peut retrouver dans votre présentation d'affaires, nous allons commencer d'abord par l'histoire. Vous devez savoir que monter une entreprise, c'est raconter une histoire. Donc, votre idée d'entreprise doit partir d'une histoire que vous racontez et cette histoire doit être une histoire palpitante et attrayante. Et l'histoire, parce qu'ici, la question en fait, que vous puissiez attirer des gens afin qu'ils soient intéressés par votre présentation qui va durer, on le dit bien, moins de 3 minutes. Donc, c'est un instant crucial et par conséquent, vous devez vous préparer à avoir une histoire qui permet que lorsque vous commencez à parler, que la personne soit intéressée pour la suite. La suite, par exemple, ça peut être quoi? La suite, ça peut être la présentation de votre proposition de valeur. La proposition de valeur ici, c'est ce que vous apportez comme solution face au problème que vous avez rencontré. Et ce problème-là, justement, est lié à votre histoire. C'est-à-dire par rapport à une situation que vous avez vécue, ou même à une histoire que vous avez lue dans un livre ou à une situation de la vie commune, vous avez eu votre idée d'entreprise et vous voulez donc y apporter une certaine solution. Donc, en point 2, on dit la proposition de valeur doit être la solution que vous offrez. Et cette solution, bien évidemment, doit s'adresser à une cible bien précise. Donc, vous devez bien identifier quelle est votre cible et surtout avoir votre produit unique, c'est-à-dire cet élément unique qui permet de captiver votre public cible. Donc, je pense que voilà où on en est jusqu'à ce niveau. Le point 1 et 2, votre histoire qui doit s'assimiler au problème pour lequel
Foucault, are you there? Is it my internet or?
Foucault, are you still there?
Oh,
I think the internet is bad.
Yeah. We need someone from TEF, from 2022 TEF entrepreneurship program to fix the internet in Africa.
Awesome. Okay, so I think we should
Okay,
just continue.
yeah. Okay, so next thing is traction. So your traction is what you have done so far. Have you just been sitting down and waiting for manna to come from heaven, or waiting for TEF to come and to give you the 5K seed capital before you do something in your business? What have you done so far? What have you achieved? What are your achievements? So it could be your revenue. What have you sold? How many things have you sold? Have you been profitable? What's your profit margin? We need to see the trajectory of your growth, over maybe 6 months or 1 year. What have you done? Have you raised funding? How much funding have you raised? What impact have you created? How many children have you saved, or how many women have you represented? Whatever business you're doing, let us know what your traction has been. What have you done? You can do this in 1 or 2 lines. I will show you an example as well. Especially TEF has said it's very critical for them to know how you are making profit. How are you making profit? So when you have this traction, emphasize on your profit. You have, how do you want to make profit? How many people do you want to sell to be able to make profit? How many customers do you have on your database? I have 1,000 customers in Bauchi, or I have 1,000 customers in Ikoyi who need so and so product. In a year, we will do XYZ amount, which will give us a turnover of XYZ amount. So ensure that, the whole purpose of this is to show that your business is profitable, so that they're not investing money in a business that's not, that doesn't have a potential, right? So show your profit, show that your business is profitable, and what you have done exactly in the last 1 year, 2 years, however long you've been in business. And even if it's just an idea that you have, it's not enough to say, oh, I haven't done anything, it's just an idea, I just need money to kick off. No, you still need to show something that can prove that you're ready for business. So it could be you built a website, it could be we've sealed partnerships, it could be the result of the research you've done, it could be so even the work that you've done to show the profit margin. Oh, you've done the research and you know that by the end of so and so year, this is kind of profits you will generate from so and so users, right? So there has to be something to show that you're serious about the business you're going into, if you just have an idea, right? So that's your traction. And then for your, what's the last thing here? My slide is covering here. Okay, then for the last thing here is you ask, what do you need? Right, so some people just pitch and talk about how amazing their business is without asking. So what is the ask? What do you need? So in this case, you're asking for $5,000 to do so and so construction, or to buy so and so plants, right? But the catch here is, in your asking, we want to know exactly what will happen by the time we give you this money, right? So by the time you win the grant, what's the potential impact of the work that you want to do with the money? So I'm giving you $5,000 and you say, oh, I need $5,000 to buy new equipment, or to enroll five more girls into coding school. So by the end of January 2023, these 5 girls will be ready for tech opportunities, in tech companies all over the world. Or I'm building a plant for 5 agricultural produce, blah, 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 blah. And by the end of this period, whatever time period it is, this is what is going to happen. So if you're in the health sector, say you're doing a research for vaccine, I need $5,000 to complete the research for the malaria vaccine, that by the end of January 2023, Nigeria will be malaria free. Oh my God, I hope that happens. Nigeria will be malaria free. So you see that by the time I look at the potential impact of this $5,000 I want to give to you, I want to be part of that solution. I want to be part of the solution that young girls will be, who have been out of school, be back in school. I want to be part of the solution that Nigeria will be malaria free. All right, so because I see the big picture, it's easier for you to get my attention because it's something that I want to be part of, right? So rather than just saying I need $5,000 to buy equipment. Okay, so $5,000 to buy equipment, and then what? Right? How am I sure that you understand what the equipment can do, or you just think people need to buy equipment to continue working? And don't say vague things like I need to increase production. Increase production by what? With what? So increase production by 30%. So now we're making 2 dresses per second, but with the new machines that we're going to buy, we'll be making 7 dresses per second. Right, so that way I can measure the growth. I can measure what the impact of the money that I'm about to invest in the business. All right, so that's about the ask. I'm not sure if Foucault is back. Otherwise, I will continue. Okay, Foucault is back. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you once more, Shioma. Donc, pour la suite, nous allons voir en 3e position votre traction ou bien quels sont vos succès jusqu'au niveau où vous êtes lorsque vous vous adressez à votre investisseur dans le cadre d'un pitch, c'est-à-dire d'une présentation très rapide que vous devez faire face à certaines réalisations. Ça veut dire que jusqu'à présent, qu'est-ce que vous avez fait de bien? Quel est par exemple le montant de chiffre d'affaires que vous avez fait? Quels sont les autres partenaires que vous avez au point de vouloir qu'il y ait un nouveau partenaire qui s'adresse à votre affaire et c'est à ce partenaire que vous adressez à l'instant T? Est-ce que vous avez déjà levé des fonds? Si oui, quel montant? Quels sont les résultats que vous recherchez? Qu'est-ce que vous voulez créer? Donc voilà des choses attrayantes que vous pouvez mettre au devant dans votre présentation afin d'intéresser votre interlocuteur. Pour finir, au point 4, quelle est votre demande? Ça veut dire que en réalité, pourquoi est-ce que vous vous adressez à votre investisseur, à votre interlocuteur à travers une présentation très rapide, que nous appelons présentation ascenseur? Ici, il est question de montrer le potentiel et le résultat que vous voulez atteindre. Si la personne vous fait confiance, si la personne vous donne de l'argent ou vous donne la machine, bref, si vous obtenez ce que vous voulez, quels seront les résultats? Qu'est-ce que vous allez donc en faire? Voilà en fait de quoi est constituée votre demande. Et pour cela, vous devez être très précis et prendre des exemples concrets, comme par exemple, actuellement, je produis 10 tonnes l'heure et si j'obtiens ce financement, ou bien si j'obtiens cette machine, je pourrais passer par exemple à 30 tonnes l'heure. Et 30 tonnes l'heure, ça correspond au marché ou à une demande ou à une commande que je reçois régulièrement sans pouvoir m'y adresser. Donc voilà, grosso modo, ce qu'on pouvait vous dire comme premier élément concernant la présentation ascenseur. Over to you, Shioma.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Foucault. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so these are general tips. Now, because the virtual pitch, because the virtual pitch ensure that you have a well-lit space. You have, your background is clear. You don't have, things distracting, on your background. Ensure that you're using lights. Even if you don't have artificial lights, please go to where that's very, very lit. Now speak audibly and speak with confidence and authority. When you're recording your video, speak with confidence and authority. And this is because we need the people who are going to be reviewing you, sometimes they are not professionals in your business line, right? If you're in the health sector, I'm probably not going to be, I'm not in the health sector. So I would rely on your confidence. And in fact, this is a secret. some people who are going to be judging you are not in your industry, so they don't really understand what you're saying. So if you're very confident and you speak with authority, you speak like you know what you're doing. So it's very believable, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm talking, on my farm, I do this, I do that, blah, blah, blah. So it's easy for me to say, oh, this person knows what she's doing. Rather than you're saying, I work in the farm and we produce 2 tubers of yam a day. Yes, and then when rain falls, so even if you know what you're doing, it doesn't sound like you know what you're doing, right? So you get it. So speak audibly so that I can hear you properly and with confidence and authority. So that way it's easy for me to buy into what you're saying. And most times rely on the confidence you exude to believe what you're saying. All right. Now use more assertive words. So words like we have done it, it's remarkable, we have phenomenal impact. These are the numbers we've acquired from so and so year, so and so year. So don't use words like you're trying, that maybe the website is not very effective, or you're trying to raise funding from here, or you're trying to see if customers that would like this product, or probably by the end of the year, we might move to another office. Don't use words like, probably trying, about, so some people can say we need about 300,000 naira, or we need about 3 months to, no, you need 3 months to complete the project. You need $500,000 to do this and do that. Be very, very assertive. No about, maybe, trying, probably, no. Don't use those vocabularies. Also avoid using filler words. So filler words like, literally, basically, like 100 literallys, 100 basically, because you're trying to fill the words. Please ensure that you master your pitch very, very well, so that you're not using all those 100 literally, basically 100 times. No. All right. So demonstrate your solution and your product while you are making the video. This is very critical. So if you make, let's say, pens, please have your pens as you're making your video. So demonstrate your pens and show us exactly how the pen works, so it makes your video more interesting and more interactive. So it's like I'm watching a movie, right? So you're not just talking, I'm watching a movie, I'm watching you demonstrate your product. So even if it's a service product that you have, what do you call it now? A digital product that you have, yes, you can demonstrate with your phone on how the app works, on where you are at the moment with maybe the prototype, whatever it is you're doing at the back end. You can demonstrate it with another phone. Be sure that making your pitch interesting by demonstrating what your solution is. All right. Yeah, Foucault. Oh, focus internet.
Maintenant, nous allons vous donner quelques
Hi, Foucault.
Okay, I think his internet is shaking.
Dans le cadre de la fondation, par exemple, les vidéos que vous allez présenter sont virtuelles. Donc, pour cela, et avoir un bon background. Le background, c'est l'arrière-plan. Vous devez avoir un très bon arrière-plan. Comme actuellement, vous voyez que mon arrière-plan, c'est le logo de la fondation. Donc, vous devez maîtriser votre arrière-plan, bien le maîtriser, et surtout.
Okay, I think Focus Network has cut him off. So you can just...
let's continue. Right, so wrapping up the general tips, while you're demonstrating your products, please ensure that you are, so you're demonstrating is when you're talking about your solution, right? So you're not talking about your profit or talking about your ask and then you're demonstrating products. You're demonstrating your products when you're talking about your solution, right? My solution is I produce AirPods, and these AirPods will help you do this, 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 and this for so and so people in this community. right? So that's where you demonstrate your product. Okay, so the next thing will be, oh, Foko is back. Foko, are you back?
Yes, can I continue, please?
Yes, please, yes.
Okay, thank you. Donc, j'étais en train de parler comme si c'était quelque chose de parler de façon très audible. Du même, c'est la confiance. Quand vous avez confiance en vous, ce que vous dites est audible et vous devez parler avec autorité. Il faudrait que votre interlocuteur comprenne que vous maîtrisez ce que vous faites. En troisième position, on vous dit par exemple d'utiliser des mots suffisamment clairs et concis, des mots qui portent et d'éviter un certain nombre de mots, comme par exemple, je vais essayer, probablement, bon, vous voyez, il paraît que non. Utiliser des mots qui sont forts et qui vont droit au but. Parce que quoi? Parce que pendant une présentation ascenseur, pendant que vous faites un pitch à quelqu'un, vous devez maîtriser ce que vous dites. Vous ne cherchez plus les mots. C'est pour ça qu'on vous encourage souvent à bien vous entraîner. Donc, voilà, grosso modo, pour les 3 premières astuces. Okay, I think that number 4, I'll let you go before.
Right. So I was saying that they should ensure that they demonstrate their product while they're talking about their value proposition.
Okay.
So demonstrate your product during the video session so that your video is interesting. So if you make anything, you raise it up and demonstrate how it works, so that people will have a feel of the product, even if it's a digital product.
Okay, oui, donc, oui, en 4e position, on vous demande, lorsque vous avez déjà des prototypes, il est important de le démontrer. Il est important de le présenter et de qu'on puisse voir, que les juges puissent voir votre produit, si c'est un ordinateur, si c'est un appareil, si c'est le jus de fruits, vous devez montrer votre produit à la caméra pour qu'on puisse voir. C'est ça qu'on appelle la démonstration. Parce que la solution que vous apportez doit être tangible. Et on vous encourage à faire de bonnes vidéos. Votre vidéo doit être intéressante. Vraiment intéressante. Utilisez tous les moyens possibles pour rendre votre vidéo attrayante. Parce que n'oubliez pas que c'est un concours. Lorsqu'on dit concours, vous ne pouvez pas imaginer l'ingéniosité que les gens ont lorsqu'ils font la présentation. Donc, on vous encourage afin d'avoir une présentation excellente. Over to you.
Thank you, Foko. So some people are saying the words are too tiny to see. You don't need to see the words, just listen. You don't, the ones that are tiny are just examples that I put underneath there, but just look at the main points and listen to what I'm saying. All right, so we're going straight to the sample elevator pitch. Now, this is a sample elevator pitch. You can take a screenshot. It's just a template. It doesn't. I don't want to see this anybody using this pitch, because I mean, of course, Tef already knows that this is my pitch, and this pitch has been used all over the world in different stages. So ensure that you're crafting your own pitch. This is just a template to guide you, right? Now, remember that we talked about the key elements of your pitch deck. Sorry, I said your pitch deck, your elevator pitch. In the beginning of the class, we talked about the key elements of your elevator pitch. So I've sectioned this 3-minute pitch to show the key elements of this pitch. So this is a perfect 3-minute pitch. Actually, it's 2.45 seconds. All right. Now, listen to this very carefully. I'll read it out and tell you where what is, how, you know, I've crafted the story and the solution and traction, and then my ask. All right. Now, in Lagos, where I live, we face the menace of water hyacinth. It's an invasive seaweed that disrupts economic activities on the waterways. It threatens our biodiversity and it blocks hydroelectric power channels. In 2019, I discovered the many benefits of this material and upcycling it and using it for fashion production. Then at Red Button, we partnered with other companies who are also upcycling these products to do the upcycling for us, and then we use the raw materials for production. Now, Red Button so that's the story. That first paragraph is the story. That's a background story, and that's what I explained. If you don't have a personal story, you can use stories around the experiences of the business, right? So in this case, That's the story around the circumstances around the business. In Lagos, where I live, these are the issues that I've noticed in this community, and I've decided to create a solution for the problem that I found in my community. Right? Now, I now move over to my value proposition, my solution, what I'm offering, right? Now, Red Button is a sustainability-minded fashion company. We are creating protective and sustainable apparel, headwear, accessory for working women in Africa. So remember, your value proposition talks about your target market and the value and your unique selling points, right? So I've talked about what Red Button is about, and the target market is working women in Africa. Then our USP is we are fusing eco-friendly materials and upcycled materials like coconut shells and water hyacinths to create premium fashion, right? That's our unique value. We have tested how to use these recyclable materials to make fashion products. And that's how we've started to develop the product, right? So ensure that you are telling us your solution, your target market, and then the unique value of that product. That's what I've done in this small paragraph. Now, the next paragraph is the traction, what we have done so far. Our collections have been featured on major fashion platforms around the world, including the United Nations Alliance for Sustainable Fashion and the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. With thousands of customers worldwide, we are ready to scale with a new ready-to-wear and retail strategy. So you see in this paragraph, I've talked about the traction, what we have done over the years. We have showcased on so many global platforms. We have sold to thousands of customers in different countries, and now we are ready to scale. So this shows that I have done a lot of work, and these are the examples of the things that I've done, and now I'm ready to move into the next level, which is why I applied for this program. Do you get it now? So in your case, when you have this traction, you talk about what you have done and talk about the people, how many people who are who need your solution, right? How many people can you sell to make a certain amount of profit? That's what you talk about in your traction. Oh, you have sold to so and so, you need 10,000 people in Makogo community to reach so and so profit level, right? So that's your traction. And then finally, your ask. We are pitching for $5,000 in grant funding to invest in production costs, including materials and machinery, to actualize our good plans. Now, remember that I said, don't just stop at telling us how much you need and for what you need before. Tell us what will happen. What's the impact of the investment? What would you do? What will happen to your business as a result of this investment, right? And that's why I said, with this, we would increase our impact by, how much did I put there? We'd increase our impact by 30% and increase our retail units. Then we'll also engage 4 more talents by the end of 2023. So you see, if you give me this $5,000, we would buy machinery, we will hire more people, and we will increase our impact by 30%. We will increase our retail units, and we will hire 4 more people. So you see, in this case, I'm telling you what will happen at the end of the day by the time I invest this money in my business, right? Now, this is a concise elevator pitch for 2 minutes. You don't have all the time to include everything, to talk about, how miracle happened in Jerusalem, how your products would evolve over the years. You don't have all the time. So talk about the most important things that is required. And that's why I've sectioned it this way. So you can section your own this way, write out the script. And this is a very good tip. Write out the script the way I've written out my scripts like this in sections, so that it's easier for you to follow and you don't confuse yourself. So write down the script like this in sections and then practice it the way it is, right? Don't read from the script when you're making your video. Practice, practice, practice. So the way I've written it out in paragraphs, it's easier for me to practice paragraph per paragraph, and I'm able to deliver the pitch without reading from my book. All right, so I'll leave Foko to translate.
Ok, donc nous allons maintenant partager avec vous un exemple de présentation ascenseur à travers l'histoire, la solution, l'attraction et la demande. Donc, dans le cas que nous avons ici, c'est vraiment un cas, c'est un exercice. On ne vous demande pas de répéter ça lorsque vous aurez l'occasion de faire votre présentation. Donc ici, à Lagos, ça c'est l'histoire. On dit, l'orateur dit, je vis à Lagos, et il y avait une grave menace de jacinthe d'eau. La jacinthe d'eau sont des plantes qui poussent sur l'eau, et ça prenait vraiment de la place dans la ville à cause des marécages. Alors, le gars dit, alors j'ai observé et je me suis rendu compte qu'en procédant au recyclage de tous ces déchets, faire des créations de modes, en y ajoutant un autre ensemble d'éléments de l'écosystème de récupération. Donc, ça pouvait servir pour faire de la création et de la mode. Donc, voilà en fait son histoire parce qu'il dit qu'il y a environ 300 femmes et une communauté de 300 femmes qui peuvent être intéressées. Voilà un peu son histoire. À travers ça maintenant, comme on l'a dit, il a donc développé des objets de mode, des habits, des habillements, ailleurs en ajoutant même d'autres choses de recyclable, comme la peau de la noix de coco et ainsi de suite, pour faire du textile et pouvoir faire des objets de mode, des objets de l'habillement, pour pouvoir habiller les hommes. Donc, voilà comment ils ont réussi à mettre en place tout un ensemble de systèmes d'ingénierie et des produits révolutionnaires et puis vendables. Maintenant, en termes d'attraction, qu'est-ce qu'on dit? On dit ici que, OK, ce que nous proposons a été tellement intéressant qu'au niveau de Mercedes, au niveau des Nations Unies, en fonction des objectifs de développement durable, ça respectait un certain nombre de choses et ça nous a encouragés à aller à partir à travers le monde pour satisfaire des milliers de clients vraiment dans le monde en termes de mode. Donc maintenant, en termes de demande, on dit, vous devez spécifiquement dire, nous avons besoin de ces $5 000 parce que nous voulons acheter de nouvelles machines, nous voulons peut-être recruter de nouvelles personnes, nous voulons avoir beaucoup plus de matières premières collectées afin de pouvoir augmenter notre chiffre d'affaires ou notre... Ce sont des choses factuelles que vous devez expliquer dans votre pitch. Et on vous l'a dit, tout ça, c'est en moins de 3 minutes. C'est vraiment entre 2 et 3 minutes, en fonction de la durée qu'on vous donnera vis-à-vis de la circonstance. Et vous le faites en donnant, bien sûr, quels sont les résultats et quelles sont vos perspectives dans les années à venir. Over to you, Shioma.
Thank you, Foko. So let's go to the, I think I'm rounding up so that we can take your questions. I see there's so many questions. Now, summary of everything we said. The more critical the problem is, the more likely you can get attention, right? So what does that mean? Don't tell me, you know, while you're researching the problem, that you're solving, please ensure that you project your problem as very critical. And this is another secret, right? So don't assume that it's a simple problem. It's not that serious. Okay, I'm helping young girls in my community. Tell us the problem that the young girls have faced, that these young girls didn't have anything or were running around naked in the rural areas, and you send them back to code, you send them to coding school, you know, and paint the picture as critical as it is, right? Because we have this thing in Africa that we're very modest, you know, want to be humble, you know, we don't want to paint a picture that we are doing, we're saving the world, when you're actually saving the world, right? So ensure that you're projecting your problem as very critical. I have I don't know. Okay, I'll refer you to my book because I wrote a book on pitching. So I have a whole chapter that talks about your problem, what quadrants to put your problem in and how you can make it more critical, right? So the more critical your problem is, the more likely you get attention. I want to fund people who the problem is critical. So if you tell me you make beautiful dresses, I don't see any critical problem there, right? Oh, I have a fashion company that makes beautiful dresses. There's nothing critical about making beautiful dresses. So nobody's going to die if they don't wear beautiful dresses, right? Exactly. So it's not so critical, and it's not, you know, I won't give you so much attention, right? But if there are other things that are more critical in your business, please project the more critical problems that you're solving than the fancy stuff. Because a lot of people are, you know, bent on telling us the fancy stuff or what is in vogue, right? And forget that pitching is about getting attention. If you're not able to get the attention of who you're talking to, then there's just no point, right? Now, The next thing is ensure your business or your idea portrays economic sustainability, job creation, and scalability. These are the core things that TEF wants to achieve with this program. Economic sustainability, job creation, and scalability of your business. If your business if it cannot project that your business is economically sustainable, it means it's generating enough revenue to sustain itself, it's creating jobs for people in the community, and it can scale. So it means it can do more, it can grow, right? If it doesn't show these three elements, then I'm sorry, you will not be able to make it. All right, so ensure that so you see the example I gave you about Red Button, you can see clearly that it shows economic sustainability. In my traction, I showed what we have done, how many customers we have in so many countries, job creation, how many people we've empowered in these communities who are processing these raw materials, and how many people we'll even hire once we get the funding, right? So it shows that we are moving forward. It shows that we're creating jobs. It shows that we're generating enough revenue to scale, right? Now, the next thing is ensure that you dress appropriately. Please don't say because it's a video, let me wear my pajamas, or let me wear my, your kitchen apron. And I mean, except you're pitching food business, yeah? So you can wear an apron. Well, please dress appropriately, don't dress shabbily, ensure that you're properly put together in your video. I don't want to be looking at videos and your hair is scattered, or someone is on the pillow yawning and doing something funny. Please ensure that you're properly put together in your video, right? Your video is very clear and audible. Please use lights and ensure that you speak loudly. If you're not selected, lastly, if you're not selected, it doesn't mean that you didn't do well. It doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't do well. The competition is high. You need to keep working and you keep creating the impact you've been creating and try again. I applied for this program 4 times. That's 4 years, right? So it didn't mean that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't just lucky, right? So it's about luck. So if you're not selected, don't give up. Continue working on your project, continue working on your business, on your idea, and keep trying again. All right, so Foko.
Thank you very much, Shioma. Donc, en résumé, nous allons retenir 4 points essentiels. Le premier point, c'est votre problème. Donc, plus votre problème est critique, c'est mieux de faire qu'on y attire, d'y attirer suffisamment d'attention. The more critical the problem is, donc, plus le problème est critique, plus vous devez y attirer de l'attention. Ça voudrait dire quoi? Ça voudrait dire que la façon dont vous faites votre présentation permet à votre interlocuteur de se passionner, d'avoir de l'empathie, de se mettre en fait à votre place parce qu'il a compris que vous avez un problème qui peut permettre d'aider les autres. En fait, c'est de ça qu'il s'agit. Vous y apportez une solution. C'est pour ça que votre problème doit être captivant et critique pour celui qui est en face de vous. Deuxième chose, vous devez vous assurer que la solution et votre entreprise globalement s'incrustent bien dans le modèle économique de votre environnement. Donc, ça veut dire que votre entreprise joue dans la durée, crée des emplois et est une idée d'entreprise qui peut permettre de croître facilement les activités. C'est ce qu'on appelle la scalabilité. Donc, on n'investit pas dans une activité qui ne va pas croître. Et la façon dont vous vous exprimez doit permettre que celui qui est en face ait confiance et comprenne que votre entreprise est susceptible à de la croissance. Troisième chose, vous devez, lorsque vous faites votre présentation, vous assurer que vous êtes bien habillé, vous êtes relax, soyez sérieux quand vous allez présenter, peut-être bien jovial. Votre vidéo doit être claire et audible, ça on l'a déjà dit. Donc, prenez-vous au sérieux et sachez qu'en face de vous, il y a des personnes qui vous écoutent avec attention. Et en fonction de ce que vous allez dire de votre présentation, qu'on va juger sur tous les plans, vous serez retenu. Et enfin, retenez une chose, si vous n'êtes pas retenu, ça ne voudrait forcément pas dire que votre projet n'était pas intéressant, non. Si vous n'êtes pas retenu, ça ne voudrait pas forcément dire que votre projet n'était pas intéressant. Ça veut juste dire que la compétition est dure et vous devez continuer à travailler et impacter autour de vous. Donc, les gars, travailler et beaucoup de courage. Over to you.
Okay, great. So this is the last slide. I'm going to answer just a few questions that I've seen pop up. Someone is asking, what if the capital is, what if your budget, what you want to do is above $5,000 or is below $5,000? Please, the prize money here, the seed funding here is $5,000. So even if your project will cost $20 million, tell us the project you're doing will cost $20 million, but in the phase we're breaking it down into phases. Phase one, we need $5,000 to hire 2 people to start the research, right? So because we know that the whole project, we understand that your business is a loss. $5,000 won't do everything you need in your business. So we totally understand that. But what you need to do is to give us a big picture and then break it down into into phases. So the big picture is I want to build the children's home, and the home will cost 40 million naira to build. But for phase one of this project, we need the $5,000 to hire contractors, or we need the $5,000 to build a makeshift tent for the children. So you see how it makes sense now, even though we know that your project is quite huge, but we can start with a phase so that you can move from there. All right, so if it's below, please, it means you're not doing enough, right? Your project is, how can your project be below $5,000? It means you're not doing enough, so you shouldn't be on this program. We need businesses that have the capacity to scale, right? To do work and scale. So please, below, not acceptable. Above, break it down into phases and tell us what phase you can do with $5,000. Yeah, the next question is, what if you have an idea? I already talked about it. If you have an idea, tell us what you have done. It's not enough to say, I don't have any experience, I don't have anything, I just have an idea. You have to have something. So it's either you have raised funding from family and friends, or you have built, you have gathered survey, research, sample, research from sample size in some community, or you have built a partnership platform, or you've secured partnerships, or you have done something. So there has to be something you have done to record that you're making progress and you're ready to start the business. A short video. So someone asked, should I include a short video in my demo because I have a digital product? I already explained that. If you have a digital product, you can demonstrate it with your phone or put a short video. You know that you have only 3 minutes, so your video shouldn't be more than 10 seconds. So put a short video demonstrating your product or whatever it is that your app is doing. So yes, you can do a short video as part of your 3 minutes video, or you can demonstrate it with your another phone on the video. Okay, Foco. While I take, let me see if there are other questions. Ibuku, let me see if there are other questions you wrote down while Foco is translating the answers I've just given.
Yeah, I have a few questions. Okay, you can go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I have listened only at least one question, I think, about the short video. Donc, en fait, il y a des questions qui ont été posées et Shioma propose que, effectivement, vous pouvez faire des vidéos. Vous pouvez mettre des vidéos dans votre vidéo, mais retenez, vous n'avez que moins de 3 minutes. Donc, faites des choses, mettez peut-être une vidéo de 10 secondes. On vous a dit, vous pouvez présenter vos produits. Vous pouvez présenter vos produits et on vous recommande de faire des vidéos professionnelles. Donc, faites tout pour que tout puisse tenir vraiment dans le temps, dans la durée. Pour ça, la fondation ne pardonne pas. Quand votre vidéo dépasse le temps requis, c'est problématique. Donc, effectivement, vous pouvez mettre dans votre vidéo d'autres vidéos. Ça, c'est permis. OK, Shiroma, you can take the floor.
Okay, thank you, Foco. Ibuku, let's know if we have other questions.
Okay, so I have a few questions. So there's one from Christine Muyishime. Her question is, what about those with a new business idea during pitching? So I think what she's trying to ask is, does pitching apply to people that are new in business or people that are just starting their business?
Yeah, that's the second question I answered. So there's no excuse that you're just starting, so you don't have anything to say. You must have something to say. You must have done something that will prepare you for. You can't be starting a business and you're just sitting down, you haven't done anything, right? So an example of what you can project as what you have done is you have raised funding from family and friends. You have raised so and so amount from your family and friends to do, this first stage of the business, or you have researched so and so community. This is the result of the research you have done, or you have, built a website, or you have engaged partners that you're going to work with. So there has to be something you have done in preparation for starting the business. It's not, you can't say you haven't done anything. I'm just sitting down.
Okay, second question from David Solomon. You said we need to demonstrate our product when talking about our solution. Please, how do we demonstrate agricultural products?
Okay. Yeah, that was funny. So you don't have to demonstrate agricultural products. You don't have to demonstrate, like people in the health sector, you don't have to demonstrate your patients and how you're treating them. So it's not, if it's not something that you can demonstrate, please, there's just, don't give yourself a headache about it. But if you can, if it's something that you can show us how it works, please, by all means, demonstrate.
Please, Chioma.
Yes.
Yes, for example, last year during pitching session, we have some people who directly made their video in their land. It means that, of course, it is a demonstration because they are taking video where they work in their farm directly. It means that it is something which is real.
Exactly, Foku, yeah. So you can take your videos in your workshop. So maybe you don't even need to do a lot of demonstration, but because you're already in your workshop, I see the video, I see your background, you're showing me your field, you're showing me the workers around. That's even enough demonstration. So yes, Foku, thank you for that. You can absolutely do that.
Okay, according to other people question, il y a une personne qui revient avec la question de savoir, lorsque c'est une idée, lorsque l'entreprise est nouvelle, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Donc, on vous dit ici, lorsqu'une entreprise est nouvelle, elle a toujours du potentiel. On peut bien faire un business plan, on peut bien présenter l'entreprise. Et sans oublier que lorsqu'on parle de projet d'entreprise, à la fondation, on accepte les projets de 0 ans jusqu'à 3 ou 5 ans. Ça veut dire que votre projet peut être encore à l'étape d'idée. Alors, lorsqu'on est en étape d'idée, vous devez présenter au point où ça puisse toujours captiver. Donc, lorsqu'on est à l'étape d'idée, on peut toujours faire une présentation. Over to you, Chioma.
Yeah, Ibuku, let me know if there are other questions. This chat is going so fast. I can't even see the questions.
Okay, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so there are other questions. I would read them out now. Just a minute. Okay, so there's one here from David Solomon. Okay, I think you've answered this. This is from Kenneth. In your sample pitch deck, I do not see anything on business revenue, profit, financials. Is that deliberate? If so, then why?
Do you want to see my revenue and my profits? But anyway, that's just my sample. What I put there is that I have 5,000 customers across several countries. And that's why I said in your own, TEF wants to see the profits that you're making, how you want to make the profit over what period of time. Please, it's just a template. So ensure that you're putting the relevant thing according to your own business, right? So you can decide to put your revenue. It could be your profit margin. It could be the number of users you have. It could be whatever achievement, your trajectory over 2 years, over 6 months, whatever, right? But ensure that you're showing that you're making progress in terms of financials. Yes, so please don't say because you didn't see $5,000 or you didn't see $100 million revenue in my template, you won't put your own. Put it there. That's just a template.
Okay, thank you, Choma.
Oui, c'est une personne qui pose la question de dire à Chioma que dans son exemple, il n'y avait pas son profil ou bien ses chiffres. Donc, ce qu'on vous dit, c'est quoi? C'était son exemple. On vous dit, en fonction de votre entreprise, de votre projet, présentez vos propres chiffres, présentez les faits réels. C'est pour ça qu'à la date d'aujourd'hui, on vous a donné des canevas de business plan, on vous a formé sur la partie financière. Donc, présentez vos données réelles, ne vous fiez pas à ce que nous sommes en train de partager avec vous maintenant. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Foko. So just to add to what Choma is saying, hello, can everybody hear me? Okay, so just to add to what Choma just said, it's just the template she shared, right? So she's just telling you what to look out for and how to put together your pitch presentation before you actually create your video. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have to put your financial projections or, you know, analyze how your finances would look like. You can do that, but she's just giving you a template so you see what it looks like. So I have another question here, and that's from, so this question is from Folorun Sholuwabumi. So she's saying that, good afternoon, Choma. I'm in the idea stage of a skincare business. How do I show my business? How do I show my business? Do the 5. No. How do I show my business? Yeah, how do I think she basically, her question is, what does she need to do to talk about her business or pitch her business since she's in the skincare skincare industry? Thank you.
So I'm attending to your skincare. This is a personal consultation. You need to come and book. Let me tell you how to pitch your skincare industry. But anyway, on the general note, you're just starting out, so you must have done something. If you're a skin formulator, how did you come about formulating, the solution you have? What have you tested? Who have you tested it on? Is it Africans that have black skin or albinos? You're working with albinos, and you've tested it. Who did you test it with? Right. So the things you have done, before now, that you're already in the idea. You're in the idea stage. So you're thinking about formulating products. What have you done? Did you go to cosmetology? What's the word now? Did you go to school? Did you go to cosmetic school? Have you partnered with another cosmetics brand? What have you done? There has to be something you have done in this stage that would that you can show as traction, right? So, like I said, you don't say, "Oh, I'm in idea stage, I haven't done anything, please, I need money to start." No, that's not acceptable. You must have done something. Tell us what you have done. And even if you haven't done something, do something within the next 1 week now so that you can pitch. Do something, do some research, have some report, gain some knowledge, do some course, do something to report that you are making progress and you're ready for this business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Choma. So there's another question. During my pitching and business plan writing, can I mention the company I'm benchmarking? So that's a question from Godsu Nzerem.
Yeah, definitely. Even though I don't advise people to mention other companies, I want to focus on your company. So when this also talking about your competition. There's nothing wrong with talking about your competition, but if you have just 2 minutes to talk about your business, I'd rather you focus on your business and leave out the competition. So tell me exactly why I should be listening to you. Tell me exactly how your impact is creating change in your community. Focus on your business. For a 2-minute pitch, please focus on your business. If you're benchmarking with another company, it's okay to say you're benchmarking with this company. They have 5,000 employees. I have 4,000 employees. They have 100,000 revenue. I have 500 million revenue. That's fine for benchmarking. But your competitive advantage, or you're talking about competitors when you have just 2 minutes, is not advisable. Please focus on your business.
Okay, thank you. And the last question is from Adebisi. I'm into tourism. My profit is on the service offer. How will you address that? How can we base our progress on assumptions?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what business is. That's what businesses do. So a lot of times you do forecast. In fact, your benchmarking that you're doing is also assumption, because you're assuming that by the end of the year you reach where this company has reached. So there's nothing wrong with assumptions, but ensure that your assumptions are based on realistic details. So you don't just say in the next 20 years Nigeria will be malaria free. How? When there's no track record of vaccine that we're creating, there's no track record of anything. So ensure that if you're making assumptions, you have verifiable details that you're using to make assumptions. It's business. So people make forecasts, but you don't just make blind forecasts. You make intelligent forecasts. Yeah. And just in case you need more help, I mentioned before that I have detailed videos around storytelling and your unique value, articulating your unique value on my YouTube channel. You can go and watch the videos after this session. My details are on the screen. You can reach out to me on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. You can ask more questions on the YouTube videos, and I'll answer your questions there because we don't have enough time to take all the questions here.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, sorry, 1 minute. If you want to purchase my book, the book is available on Amazon. Oh, I can't show the book now. Anyway, the book is available on Amazon, so you can buy the book from there. You can also buy from me. Just send me a DM and I'll let you know how to purchase it. It has everything around how to pitch your business and articulate your value for funding and other growth opportunities. Thank you very much, Ibuku and Foko, for your time today. I am very excited and I wish you, everybody here, the TEF entrepreneurs, I wish you guys good luck and I wish you the best. Again, like I said, even if you're not selected for the pitch, it doesn't mean you're not good enough. Keep working, keep creating impact, and you'll be lucky another time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chioma. It was an exciting session. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for sharing your experience with our participants on the program. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. So I'm just going to address a few questions I've been getting, and this is really around the program. So somebody was asking about showing your ID card when you're creating your video. So for this, we will definitely share more information on how you can create your pitch video and what you need to do. So, but this is going to come in another month, and by next month we will share more information around the pitch. But I think the most important and the most critical right now is to focus on your business plan, because your business plan is a reflection of your pitch. So, and we've told you that it shouldn't be more than a page or two. So, and we've highlighted areas you need to focus on in your pitch, right? So I think it will be nice for you to focus on your business plan so you can give a detailed representation of your business plan. And then you can now send that. So that can be a reflection of your pitch video, okay? Sorry, excuse me. So I have another question here. Somebody is asking, can we edit the video such that it shows what we're doing while we're speaking in the background? I'm not sure you're able to do that. So what you can do is, if you have a workshop, if you have a business office, you can actually pitch your video there, right? And if you have people walking behind you, you can do that, but you need to make sure that where you're working or where you're trying to create your video is very quiet, so that whoever is listening to your video, the videos are clear, there's no distraction or interruption. So that is also very critical. So you need to ensure that you're taking or shooting your video in a very quiet place with very bright lights, so that the person reviewing your video, the judge who is reviewing your video, can see your face clearly, can hear you, you're going to be audible, so that they're able to review your video very well and they can hear you clearly. So that's also very critical. So, but that doesn't take away the fact that you can't actually shoot your video in your workplace or in your business office. You can actually do that, or in the field where you're transacting or where you're working on your business. You can actually do that. So you can, but just make sure it's quiet, there's no noise in the background, and it's clear, people can hear you properly. So that's very critical. I think that's all. So as Chairman mentioned, you can send your questions to her if you still need more clarity, because we're unable to take all the questions here, so we don't waste time. So please just check, look through our YouTube handle. I'm sure a lot of you should have taken screenshots of that. And if not, Choma, please, if you can just show us that last slide so people can take a screenshot of your handle, so that they can reach out to you on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and Instagram. And you can also buy Chioma's book. It's The Pitch Mastery. If you need more knowledge, more clarity on how to pitch to prospective investors and what the steps need to take to do that, you can actually engage her. So reach out to her on Instagram, and on YouTube it's Chioma Pitch Queen. On Instagram is at Chioma Red Button and at the Pitch Center. And on LinkedIn it's Chioma Ubudimpa. So you can reach out to her. You can do a screenshot of this slide and reach out to her after the session. So the attendance link is also in the YouTube description page. So just click on the arrow button below and then click on the link, fill the survey and mark your attendance. Very critical. Also, we would let you know when it's time to submit your business summary document. We've given you the templates. The template is also in the description on YouTube, and we've posted the links in all languages. So kindly pick your preferred language and download a copy of the template and then fill and develop your business summary document. We would share more information around pitching. When you need to start your pitching, we will share that information with you. But I think it's very critical that you focus on your business plan. Make sure your business plan is tight, is robust, is well written. If you have mentors that you look up to that in the business space, you can show it to them. If you have friends that have existing businesses or have been running businesses that you can seek advice from, you can share your business summary with them to look at it and give you an advice, or just review for you. So you can do that. You can actually do that. So please focus on your business summary. Make sure you do a good job. And I wish everybody the very best. And like Chioma said, not everyone will be shortlisted, but some people would move to the next phase of the program and some people will not. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're not good enough or the other person is better than you. Just keep trying, keep pushing, develop yourself, upskill yourself. And, I know that the sky is the limit for everyone. So thank you very much. But before I go, I'll just allow Foko translate all I've said quickly in French, and then we would end the session. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ibukun. De façon ramassée, on va parcourir un certain nombre d'informations que Ibukun vient de partager avec nous. Donc, par exemple, actuellement, vous êtes à la phase où vous exploitez les canevas de business plan. Donc, allez-y tranquillement, il n'y a pas de pression. Donc là, on vous donnera le délai pour pouvoir soumettre vos canevas de résumé de business plan. Donc maintenant, il y aura une autre session. Quelqu'un a posé la question sur l'opportunité de présenter la carte d'identité quand on fera la formation. Quand vous allez faire les petites vidéos, on vous dit ceci, il y aura une autre session d'information sur comment vous allez faire vos vidéos. Donc ça va venir. Donc on vous dit, tout le monde ne sera pas retenu après la phase de mission des résumés de business plan, mais soyez courageux. Il n'y a que le ciel qui est la limite. C'est comme ça qu'on dit en entrepreneuriat. Continuez à travailler. Faites tout ce qu'on vous demande de faire. Soyez très assidus. Vous avez déjà dans la zone de description la fiche de présence. Donc, le formulaire de présence est déjà disponible dans la zone de description sur YouTube. Essayez donc de la remplir pour manifester que vous avez suivi cette session. Donc, il y a aussi dessus les liens en différentes langues des différents résumés de business plan que vous pouvez télécharger et faire vos business plans. Donc, on vous encourage, vraiment beaucoup de courage dans ce que vous faites. Continuez à nous suivre et vivement qu'à la prochaine session, on se retrouve. OK. Thank you. Ibuku, over to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Foko. So I just got a few inquiries, a few things entrepreneurs have been making inquiries about, which is around the training. So there are no categories this year for the training. So we had different categories last year, but we don't have those categories this year. So the training is for everyone. So everybody on the program taking the TAF business management training, they're all taking the same thing. So there are no categories. So please also share with every other person you know taking the program that's on the program. There is no training category this year. Everybody is taking the same training. Also, if you have completed your business management training 100% and you've completed all your assessments, if you feel the need to take the general training to upskill yourself or for your learning, please feel free, but you're not going to be scored or marked for that. It's a general training we have provided for every user on TEF Connect. The only training that is customized for our 2023 participants is the flagship business management training. It's the customized training for people who have been shortlisted to move to the next phase of the program, which is the training phase that we're currently on. So please, if you want to take the general training to improve your learning, to upskill yourself, please feel free to do that, but you're not going to be scored, and there's no assessment for that. So I just thought to mention that. And also, for everyone asking about business summary template again, please, it's in the show description, show more description on YouTube. Just click on your preferred language, download a copy of it, save it on your computer, and then you can start editing or updating with your business plan information. So I think I've been able to address all of that. So Foko, kindly translate that quickly in French, and we end the session. Thank you. And I wish you guys the very best. Have a wonderful weekend and blessed weekend. And again, the training ends on the 3rd of June. Please, gentle reminder to everyone. We would close the portal after the 3rd of June. We're going to shut down the portal. Nobody's going to have access to the training portal. So that's why I've been, giving or sharing this reminder. The training ends on Monday, the 3rd, on Friday, the 3rd of June. So please kindly note and complete your training and assessment. Thank you. And have a great and blessed weekend. Thank you, everyone.
OK. Yes. OK. Donc, pour finir, on vous donne quelques dernières informations. Il y a des questions qui reviennent toujours concernant les catégories. On vous dit cette année, en 2022, il n'y a pas de catégorie. Retenez-le. Il n'y a pas de catégorie en 2022. Donc, le portail sera fermé exactement le 3 juin. Il n'y aura pas de rallonge. Donc, on vous demande de faire tout le nécessaire pour qu'avant le 3 juin, quiz. Vous serez évalué uniquement sur le programme de 9 modules. Le programme de 13 modules est accessible à tous ceux qui ont accès à TF Connect. Donc, vous ne serez pas évalué dessus. Vos calculs de performance ne sont pas liés au fait que vous ayez lu ce programme à part ou pas, le programme général. Ça ne concerne pas le calcul de vos performances et de votre assiduité. Votre assiduité est uniquement liée au module qu'on a mis à votre disposition, à tous ceux qui ont été retenus pour suivre cette session, la session 2022, pardon, du programme d'entrepreneuriat de la Fondation Tony Lemelou. Donc, voilà ce qu'on pouvait partager avec vous aujourd'hui. On vous dit, il n'y a pas de catégorie. Vous serez évalué sur le programme de 9 modules, pas celui de 13 modules. Celui de 13 modules est facultatif. Vous n'êtes pas obligé de le suivre, mais on recommande de le suivre. Donc, voilà, grosso modo, ce qu'on pouvait faire aujourd'hui. Donc, on vous remercie et passez une bonne semaine. Over to you, Ibuku.
Okay, thank you, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We've come to the end of our master classes. So this is the very last master class for the 2020. Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes, we are hearing you.
So we've come to the end of our masterclass series for the 2022 TEF Business Management Training. We will have another set of virtual sessions, and we will share more information on that. And then we're still going to have our recap session on financial reporting. So please, we would send an email to everyone just to give you more information. Thank you for joining, and so sorry that we exceeded an hour. My sincere apologies. Again, this is Ibuku Durinde, the Entrepreneurship Programs Manager at the Tony Lemelou Foundation. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, everyone.